Hey guys, and my name is Paradox. Welcome back to a Paradox of Thoughts. This is my second episode of this. Last time I had the first episode, and this is where you guys can ask me questions and I can answer them, just so you guys can get to know me a little bit better if you want to. Like I said in the last one, this series isn't for everyone. It's just for those people who would like to ask questions about me, or my experiences in China, or about Game of Thrones, or Let's Plays that I've had, stuff like that. Last time I spent a long time. The video was much longer than I wanted it to be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 10 minutes answering questions, and then maybe 5 minutes on my own thoughts. That is probably how I'm going to split this up to make it a bit easier on me, rather than have it be 20 minutes of me answering questions, because there were some big questions, and I'm going to try and get around to all of them. If any question is something I can't answer, or is something that maybe it talks about spoilers, I won't talk about, sorry. I may do a special one just about spoilers of the books for where the TV show hasn't gone. I could do a special episode on that if people want me to, but this is just for a little bit of fun, so don't worry about the video in the background. That's just me playing a random game. So the first question is from Austin Knight. I'm considering doing what you're doing but in Japan, and I was wondering things such as how the experience is and how much time it takes to break the language barrier. Okay, so what he's talking about is the fact I'm teaching English in China, so I guess you want to do the same thing in Japan. My experience has been pretty interesting. Really, it's been quite easy. At first it seems really daunting. You get there and it's like, oh my god, this is so different. Like, everything's crazy. Like, it seems like such a different place. Like, you can't read anything, you can't talk to anyone really. It's very difficult. But when I got here, if you go to the right places, you can actually see where people speak English. Like, a lot of people here in China speak English, so it's usually very easy for me to get around and to talk to people. So I never really have much of a problem with that. It's going to take me a long time to learn Chinese. My Chinese is very bad, and it's going to take me a long time. So to break the language barrier is a very hard thing. It'll take you a long time. I'm assuming Japanese will probably be very similar to Chinese, very difficult to learn. But obviously Japan maybe will be different. And at the moment, I'm living in a really nice area of China. I live in a place called Suzhou, near Shanghai. It's a really nice city, very modern and stuff like that. There's a lot of foreigners here as well sometimes. But yeah, that's all I can really say about that. Traveling to another country to work is really based on you. If you'll enjoy it, if you are the sort of person who would enjoy it. It sounds really stupid, but it's true. From being here, I've absolutely loved it, adored it, but I wouldn't say it's for everyone. Most of my friends I don't think would enjoy it, just because of certain problems you might face. A lot of people just give up and stuff like that. But if you go through it, it's so awesome. But yeah, that's all I can really say about that one, unless you give me more information. Okay. You probably already said this, but which house in Game of Thrones do you support? Which house do I support in Game of Thrones? That is a tough question. I talked about favourite character, but which house do I support? If you're talking about houses, I guess families. If you're talking about any family, I guess I support Baelish. I like Baelish. I don't really like any of the families. The weird thing about me in the books is I never really take sides. I just like watching it. I don't get too invested in certain characters. Normally just the side characters I get invested in. If I was to go with one of the main families, so the Seven Kingdoms family sort of thing, Starks, Lannisters, Tullys, Greyjoys, Martells, Vale, Arryns. Obviously the Vale's a bit boring. It's only got Robert Arryn at the moment, so no one really likes them. The Tullys, I really like the Tullys. You got Brandon Blackfish, Edmund Tully, Catelyn Stark. Some really good Tullys there. Then you've got the Greyjoys. I really like Victorian Greyjoy. Auron Crowseye, he's an awesome character. So some really cool. And Theon. Theon has one of the best stories in the books. So the Greyjoys are my favourite characters, probably, actually. Now that I think about it, they probably have some of my favourite characters. But do I support them? No. I don't want them to win. Do I want the Tyrells to win? Probably not. Do I want the Baratheons to win? Huh. Maybe I'm Baratheon then. I don't know. If I had to pick one, maybe I'm Baratheon. If Stannis. Martells. Quentin Martell made me really like the Martell, sorry, which most people who watch the TV shows haven't met him yet. Then, so that really does make a difference to them. I guess it'd be the Tullys or Baratheons if I had to pick one. The Starks, I think I'm weird sometimes. The things everyone loves, like everyone loves the Starks. I usually don't like. I don't know why. My favourite Starks are dead. Ned Stark, Robert Stark. Those were probably my favourites, sadly. And they're gone, so, okay. And next question. Blah, 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 blah. Secondly, what is the funniest saying you've heard whilst in China? Okay, so since I've been in China, I've heard a lot of funny things because I'm an English teacher, so I'm teaching Chinese adults Chinese. And obviously they get a lot of stuff wrong. So it can be really funny. It's going to be really hard for me to remember, though. The funniest thing I heard was someone in a class, we were talking about things we want to stop doing. So, like, I'm going to stop eating chocolate. I want to go on a diet. I want to get more fit. I want to stop complaining. I want to be less messy. And I asked one girl, young girl, about 17, I said, okay, so what is something that you feel you would like to change? And she goes, I guess the problem I have is I can't stop putting things in my mouth. And I said, what? And she goes, yeah, I can't stop putting things in my mouth. At night, I always need something in my mouth. And I was like, oh my Jesus Christ. I almost started laughing in front of the entire class. I don't think anyone else in the class really understood. But for me, that was hilarious. I was just stood there thinking, oh my God, that's amazing. So for me, that stands out as one of my favourite ones. Oh no, there's another one that's even better. But yeah, so yeah, she was just like, at night I can't stop putting things in my mouth. I always need something in my mouth. And I was like, oh my God. So I really wanted to laugh. The second one was a bit weirder. It was funny because it was so, it was really racist. So a lot of people in China love basketball. Basketball is very popular in China, probably thanks to a basketball player called Yao Ming. So he's inspired a lot of young Chinese people to play basketball. And I then asked the students, I said, okay, what game does Yao Ming play? What sport does Yao Ming do? Because we were talking about people who inspire us. And one of my students, he just looked at the other student. There was only two of them in the class at the time, very small class. He looked at him, and they both looked at each other. And he's looked at me and went, is blackball? That's it, blackball. And I was like, what did you just say? Because I felt like I'd misheard him, and he was like blackball, and I was like, oh my God, okay, it's not that. Never say that again, please. Never say that. That's not what it's called. It's called basketball. And he goes, oh yeah, basketball. Oh, that's it, basketball. Yeah, no, I know. I was like, Jesus Christ. So I don't know why I'm saying Jesus Christ a lot now. I'm not even religious, but yeah. So I've heard a few funny things. There's some more, but I probably can't remember them on the spot. Blah, 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 some background. Any other questions? Is there a big culture shock? So has it been a big culture shock? To be honest, the culture shock has not been a big problem for me because I love culture. I love learning about new cultures and stuff like that. I'm very open to new ideas. I'm very open-minded, so I've eaten lots of food. I've eaten chicken feet. Not very good. Do not try chicken feet. I've eaten pig's trotters, which isn't very weird in Europe, but maybe for a lot of English people or Europeans, Americans, it might be. I've eaten frog. Frog is delicious, actually. If you have fried frog, it's so good. It really does taste like chicken, fried frog. I've eaten a couple of other weird stuff as well. The insides of some animals and stuff like that. None of it I really liked apart from frog. That was probably the best one. And I had crocodile as well. Crocodile was delicious. Yeah, so I had a few weird things, but culture shock wise, I've not been that affected. Everything here it looks almost the same as back home in England. They have the same sort of shops. There are Zara's here. There's a Uniqlo's. There's McDonald's. There's Pizza Huts. You know, there's all the shops you expect to see. So it doesn't feel that different. There's even IKEA. There's even IKEAs here. So the culture shock I don't feel is that big for me. I think for some other people it might be, but for me I've actually not had a problem with it. But like I said, that could just be me. But I've really enjoyed actually the culture stuff. It's actually been really fun. Next question, how are the babes? Not sure if this is a serious question, but actually the babes here in China are actually really good. If you guys don't know, I probably haven't said this, I actually have a Chinese girlfriend right now. For the last 2 months, it's been almost 3 months now, I've had a Chinese girlfriend. Actually, the Chinese babes are quite good. It's like anywhere, you know, you go to England, there are some ugly ones, some beautiful ones, some hot ones. But the nice thing about China is not many people are fat. There's lots of skinny people. And I will admit that when it comes to being girls, I guess fat turns me off. If they're, you know, fatter than me or taller than me. I don't know why, it slightly turns me off. But a lot of the Chinese people, you know, girls here are usually shorter and usually very skinny. Almost all of them are very skinny. So for me, a lot of them are quite hot. That's my personal opinion. And to me, you know, it doesn't matter about, a lot of people like certain races, like they go, I really like Asian girls, or I like African girls, or I like European girls. That never bothers me. I've never been really seen in that. I like everyone. I think some Chinese girls are beautiful, some are ugly, some German girls are beautiful, some are ugly, some Americans are beautiful, some are ugly, some Brazilian girls are beautiful, some are ugly, so that's how I feel about that. Yeah. Moving on, question that one. Any other questions? Like I say, if any of you want to answer these questions yourself, like what house do you support? I remember last time lots of people were answering to the questions of, you know, what was their favorite character, and it was really fun to see what you guys had to say. I'm probably going to leave the questions to there because it's been going on enough. So now I'm just going to talk about my own thoughts. And I'm just going to start off with my first thoughts of China. So when I first came to China, it was quite daunting. It was very different. There's a few different things here. Like the way Chinese people treat you here can be very different. So some of them have maybe never seen many foreigners. And so when I first got here, there was a lot of people who would try to sneakily take pictures. Like they would try and, you know, move their phone in such a way that it didn't look like they were trying to take a photo, but then you hear like a photo noise, and you look around and they're like looking away. So it was really funny sometimes, and there's some really interesting things with that. And the food here is delicious. I love Chinese food. So if you love Chinese food, there's some really nice things like tong soup, Beijing duck. There's lots of really nice stuff. The food here is so much cheaper. I can eat out basically every day. That's how cheap it is. I can actually eat out every day. So that's really nice. I haven't got to cook if I don't want to. I could do that every day. People here as well, a lot of them kind of like foreigners. Some don't, obviously, like anywhere. You have a small amount of people every place who maybe don't like foreigners. But here in China, a lot of people do. And if I go out to a club or a bar with my friends, you sit next to a Chinese person, you know, order a drink, they'll give you a drink. The person next to you, if they're Chinese, you get to talk to them, they'll go, hey, have a drink, and they'll give you free drinks. And the club we go to, the club itself gives us free drinks. They give us free entry and free drinks. It's absolutely amazing, because they know that actually, by having foreigners there, people are more likely to go, because they go, hey, look, there's lots of foreigners here. That means it must be popular, because they think foreigners go out and party a lot, which I guess we do. Far more than most of the Chinese, I guess. So I guess it's good for them. That's great for us. And like I say, I have a Chinese girlfriend, so I've really enjoyed my time here. She's great. It's quite a serious thing, I guess, actually, our thing. It's not just a mess around. So I've really enjoyed it here, actually. And like I said, there's a few weird stuff, like the way people treat you. Like I say, when it comes to drinks, buying you drinks. And also, people here think white skin is beautiful. So when girls go out, they want to have the whitest skin they can get. So in the summer, girls will walk around with umbrellas, so as though their skin won't tan. Which I always thought was quite funny, because in the West, we normally say, you know, tan skin is beautiful. And I have quite white skin. My skin is, you know, quite white, but in a nice way. And I've been told by many girls that they say, your hands, they're so beautiful. Because my hands are really white and kind of nice glowing white. And so they go, wow, your hands are beautiful, not handsome. So it's not a good thing. It doesn't mean they find me attractive. It means they're saying they're beautiful. If a girl thinks you're attractive, they'll say you're handsome. It's very different. Beautiful doesn't mean that as well. So that's quite a weird thing as well, the whole white skin thing. Like they all try to aim for white skin. You watch the TV shows, most people all have completely white skin. Or, kind of going towards the right. No really dark skin, which is weird because in China, it's such a cool culture because there's so many different types of people. There's people from the west part of China who usually got maybe a bit darker skin, look a bit more Muslim. Southern, sort of west of China, maybe a bit more to Tibet, look a bit more Indian maybe. Stuff like that. It's such a nice mix of culture and people. They all look so different. But you look on the TV show and it doesn't have that, which is kind of a shame. So that was one thing that, I don't know, I don't like about it in a way. But other than that, I've loved it here. Those are kind of my first thoughts on China to the way I've been treated as a person. But they really like a lot of Western stuff. iPhones are adored here. Everyone has iPhones. Everyone likes Western stuff. It's really weird. And they have a really high opinion of Americans here. So lots of Chinese really like Americans. So whenever I have a class we talk about America, because sometimes we have that, they're like, I go, how would you describe an American? And they say really nice things. I'm not sure if they just say it because they just want to be nice or if they actually mean it. But yeah, I should probably end it here. And that's just a bit of my thoughts and some questions I've answered. If you guys have any more questions you'd like me to answer, I still have more I need to answer, tell me in the comments section of this video. If you have any opinions on any of the questions I've answered or what I've talked about, again, please tell me. And like I say, this won't be for everyone, this series. This is for those few people, just to get to know me a bit better. I like to interact with you guys. I find it really fun. But yeah, I'm Paradox. Thank you again, as always, for your continued support. We've just passed, when I've recorded this, 700,000 views. And we're slowly heading towards 3,000 subscribers. So I'm just absolutely amazed at this. I really want to thank you guys. It's because of your continued support, your advice, your comments, your views that I'm continuing to do this. And you've made my time here even better. So I want to thank you guys. And I'll see you guys around next time. I hope you guys enjoy the World Cup.